Our warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or doghouse in that area. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimble. Go get him.
This was an uphill climb from the very beginning. I was in the development of the script for 5.5 years. We went through 9 writers, at least 25 different screenplays.
The original script that we were handed had been through several permutations. It had been in the hands of another director for a while. And it was so far-fetched, I think, that the version I first read, Tommy Lee Jones had hired the one-armed man to kill Harrison because Harrison had messed up an operation on his wife after he had beat her up.
And there were times that everyone would say, "You're wasting your time. Why are you doing this? You're wasting money." Warner Brothers put the property into turnaround. They too were concerned because we had spent about $2 million in writing costs, and they were concerned that this would not ever bear out. And I said, "Listen, I have an instinct about this. My gut tells me that this is going to be a success."
Rarely do you work on a movie where you have the kind of involvement and support of a star like Harrison and the support of the studio. There really was never a budget. There was really never a script for this movie. They just said, "We want you guys to make the best movie you can out of this, and we want it for next summer."
Harrison Ford was my first choice. When I finally had a draft that I thought was respectable enough that I could show Mr. Ford, I gave it to his manager, Patricia McQueenie, and she read it over a weekend, and she came back and said, "You know, Harrison has always wanted to do this, and this screenplay is really quite good, and it's good enough to give to him." I said, "Thank you so much," and she gave it to him, and he came back and said, "I'm going to do it, but it needs work, but I want to work with you on it, and let's make this movie." And the next job we had was to get a director.
I got a call from either Arnold or one of the executives, Lucy Fisher or Bruce Berman, saying Harrison wants to meet with you tomorrow, because Harrison had gone to see Under Siege in Jackson Hole, I believe, over the weekend. And you know, I had been working for a year on this movie. I was ready to take a break, and then the opportunity came up to work on The Fugitive with Harrison, and of course I couldn't say no to that. And I was very, very flattered and touched that he wanted me to do it.
Well, I'd seen the script maybe 3 or 4 times over the period of the last 5 or 6 years. I'd gone through a variety of changes. And this time it seemed to be very close to an extent making it up as we went along.
As an actor, Harrison exemplifies the role originally created by David Janssen, in that the people feel for him. When you look at Harrison, you root for him, you like him.
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
There is something about his face, his manner of speaking, that there is empathy right off the bat. Without even...
I've been lucky enough to be involved in a number of films where I was involved in the formative stages. As we said, the script wasn't finished, so I had a very keen interest in how the script was developed
and worked very closely with the producer and the director and the screenwriter to get something that made me comfortable.
Harrison is the most involved actor I have ever worked with on any motion picture, and I've done many to date. He is the consummate professional. He has been involved in the screenwriting. He's been involved in casting, every casting session he has been at. He's involved in costume design, set design. Every aspect of this movie, he is functioning as if he were producing it with me. He will review the action sequences.
And he had his own kind of attitude about the character. He was like, as my friend Paul Brickman, the writer, said, Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive is a force of nature.
So I've never worked with Harrison. I wanted to do that. I've always had a good time working with Andy Davis, and everything added up just fine.
You never know what Tommy Lee is going to say or do. He's extremely bright, very quick thinking, and has a sense of humor, and a very wry sense of humor at times.
Tommy likes to play with the lines, and, you know, when he gets out and says, well, 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 that's not in the script. I mean, it's all Tom.
Roll, Sam. We're rolling!
The man had the ability to handle a big budget movie. But more importantly, Andy Davis is a fine human being, and he's a collaborative human being. I will not work with a director that does not let me into the creative process. So working with Andy, I have the ability to express my views, to have a thorough consideration, and to feel that I am being listened to, and that some, if not many, of my ideas will be on film.
Andy has had a great success with Under Siege, which I saw and thought was a very good action-adventure film. And it had some humanity and humor. We had a good time working together.
Andy's a good friend. And if I always need a job, if he has something for me to do, I'm going to step right up and do it.
Andy shoots from the hip. Just rock and roll.
Harrison met me at the airport in Jackson Hole with Lucy Fisher, and he said to me the first things we're going to Chicago.
I was born and raised in Chicago, but I hadn't been back in 10 or 15 years, and it was great fun to be back in Chicago.
If you look back over the films I've made, and even Ebert's even talked about it several times, is that the location becomes a character in the movie. And that definitely was in my mind for this. The idea of
Tommy Lee Jones, Marshal Gerard, is chasing Richard Kimble. And he's going to trap Richard Kimble and open fire on him and discharge 9 rounds. This here is called the Wood Abergast trunnion gun. It's on air pressure. A wax bullet is put into the cylinder. The cylinders are electrically fired in any order we would like them to be in. We have a laser sight. We slide this on, and it creates a laser beam, and you can see on our target exactly where we want the bullets to be. We have the ability to be over Tommy Lee's shoulder, looking down his barrel and seeing Tommy Lee and Richard Kimble in the same shot, and for Tommy to fire the weapon and for the bullet to discharge it. Unrehearsed stuff with a parade. And the parade guys said, yeah, but, you know, you can't interrupt the parade. So we had a couple of Steadicam cameras, a couple of fixed cameras.
Instead of doing a French Connection type chase through the streets, I said, why don't we use the St. Patrick's Day parade to get this needle in the haystack idea across again, this man getting lost in humanity. And it was very funny because it's not something you sort of do. You run around with 2 major movie stars and cameras through the city in the middle of a St. Patrick's Day parade.
And so we film in the morning to get the work the company's paying us to do done, and then head over to the parade. We had an early call. We got almost the whole day's work done, but so we could do the parade because we hadn't scheduled. It wasn't scheduled. In the studio, we're not we aren't going to call them and say, look, we need some extra dough to shoot the parade. They're not going to go for that. I mean,
Wasn't really recognized for a little while, but we were able to get what we needed before that actually happened.
So it was all dependent on 2 things. Michael Chapman, the DP, had to be ready with certain camera positions, and Steve St. John, who's this incredible Steadicam operator who I'd worked with on almost all my movies, was able to run around in freezing cold and keep up with the foot traffic with this Steadicam.
it's moving at 4 miles an hour. I mean, so we don't see it until it's right there. It's not like we got somebody up the road and say, oh, there's the bagpipers are coming now. So So it was strictly impromptu. And Tommy, when he jumps up at the end of the
Sewer pipe and went up my pants to a safety belt underneath, so I felt comfortable enough standing quite close to the edge.
So I thought to myself, well, how am I going to do this? So we figured out a way that we could have a flatbed truck. And we built a section on the flatbed truck, and we built it on a pivot so that we literally could drive the flatbed onto the top of the dam and pivot the entire top section of the tunnel around, and there's our set. We put some leggings on it, and we just went and started shooting. I mean, it was going to take weeks to build this thing, so I said, we just do it on a truck. And we finished, we let the water out. We had an arrangement downhill, let water go through it. And when we finished, we just pulled it back and drove it off.
What? The making of this movie is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And the freedom I had to mold a movie, I think, is unique.
When you make a movie, you don't know that you're making The Fugitive. You know you're making a movie with Harrison Ford in it. It's called The Fugitive. And you know you got a train sequence you're working very hard on to make special, and you got a dam sequence, and you've got the end of the movie, and you've got, you know, 2 great actors in it. But you're not really sure that you're going to wind up with The Fugitive. I mean, I'd be running the studio if I could figure that out.
The work experience to me was a very gratifying one because because whatever the extingent conditions were, I felt that we overcame them, usually at the last moment. You know, it's often the most difficult circumstances that produce some of the best movies.
James Newton Howard's music, I think, was an integral part of the success of the movie, and we ended up with something that I'm extremely proud of.
We hoped to make a successful motion picture. We didn't have any idea we'd be nominated for Best Picture. And the fact it was nominated, I think, for 7 Academy Awards, you know, including Best Picture, was a real